I got some eggs in there I bought, and Carol Ann had biscuits.
Uh-huh.
So we cooked breakfast. And I said, I paid for that, but I'm fixing to take your wife back down there to the house.
He don't give a shit. He don't give a shit.
Yeah, she was kind of intoxicated yesterday when I went by there.
Mark Woods was?
Yeah.
No, not him.
I said last night, I'm going to go up there this morning and get her, bring her down here.
So tell me, was it drafty in the mines down there?
Now at Concord and Oak Grove, we went about 1,400 feet down. Maybe not that far. No, we wasn't that far. About 700-800 feet straight down. You could walk in and out. We had slopes, but
how long did it take you to get down there?
We had to call what to call a hill trip. It was like cars on a cable, and everybody get on this hill trip and they'd go down the slope like that. Take about 2 minutes to get down there. But hell, it was easy to walk out.
Right.
You know, I used to have to inspect them when I was on the safety committee, and I'd walk out looking at the top of everything. But the best thing about them was the air come down that, so when you leave out in the evening, you'd get the front seat, and all them behind you, you'd reach in there and get a can of snuff out. They get snuff on them, just cuss like hell, you know. But now, Jim Walters 5, which I don't know if you knew.
Is that Brookwood?
Brookwood.
Yeah.
Jim Walter 5, the one that blowed up
and
killed the man, them was all my friends. But that mile was the deepest coal mine in North America. It was 1/2 mile from the top straight down.
And you had to ride an elevator?
Over 60 people.
And that took a long time, didn't it?
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow. That thing was flying, though, really.
Oh, it's flying.
I mean, more than 60, well, less than 60 miles an hour, but that's still fast, right?
Yeah, that was fast. We dropped. And, but that air down there, it was so gassy, and it was the most gassiest mine.
Right, which is why it blew up, right?
Yeah. Well,
methane.
That was part of neglect and gas, you know. But we had to have so much air to come down to clean the gas out that you'd have to have in a 20-foot wide, 8-foot high corridor, we'd have about 126,000 cubic feet of air coming through there.
Wow. How do they do that with blowers? They got blowers?
Got big, gigantic fans. I mean, the blades on them is probably as high as about 20 feet high, each blade is. Gigantic fan. You can hear them way off. Right?
Really?
But it pulled that air from openings through the mine. And in the mine, you had curtain in the face areas to direct the air around. Then you had the returns, where all the gas would go back down them returns in the dust. And now what happened at 5? A bradish, which you built in between them blocks of coal to keep the air separated, bad air from the good air. One of them had crushed out, and it got in there on a battery charging station, and that's where it blowed.
Just took a spark or something.
They got it out. And when the other crews got out to come get him, that's when something else happened. That caused something else to happen. And that's when it blowed up and killed them all.
Golly.
Killed them. Yeah.
So just a spark from that station or something like that just ignited it, or it caught on fire?
Something exploded. One of them batteries done something.
Right.
Something. Yeah. At Concord, where it's against the law to smoke the mines or take any kind of stuff. Now I know at 5 nobody ever carried anything. I couldn't know of anybody. But at Concord now you could smoke around in there.
Oh yeah.
But you didn't. If they caught you, they fired you.
But, really?
Yeah. I used to run a train down there. I had a train, a 51-ton train engine.
And it had coal? Carried coal?
Trolley wire. Like you see, you put a pole up and it runs on that copper trolley wire. Well, I'd pull 10-ton coal cars behind me. And I'd carry the cars from the dump to the section and drop them off, and I'd pick up the loaded ones and haul them back the main line to the bottom. And that was my job. I had a person that sit in the train right behind me. It had 2 engines tied together, and they would get off those switches, one back in or whatever, you know.
Did those trolley lines, they didn't arc or anything, though, did they?
No, they just run on there. But if you touch it and you down it, it was gone.
Right.
I mean, it shocked you.
A bunch of
About that thick, solid copper.
bunch of current going through there.
Yeah, you know.
Wow.
But it was a unique place to work. I really loved it.
So when did you get out? When did you stop doing physical? When were you physically in the mines? And you swapped to doing
1987.
Okay.
That's when I brought up the union mine. I was always involved on the safety committee, mine committee. One thing my daddy messed up, he told me, he got me the job down there. He sold cars
Right.
for me. And 1973 was a bad contract strike. And that's when the coal miners started getting $50 a day, walk in, walk out insurance. We got a lot of benefits. Well, he asked me, I got in trouble with the Internal Revenue a little bit, painting. And I thought you were supposed to pay your painting bill and everything, and then what was left go to Panama City. And that's what I done. That guy come knocking on the door.
So you owe some taxes, right?
I owed a bunch of taxes. So, Daddy just sold about 3 cars in Foreman's down there at Concord. He said, I can get you a job in the mine if you want to do it, $50 a day, son. I said, well, I won't do that. My paint job went to work in the mine.
What year was that?
1987. It was 87. And when I went to work for U.S. Steel, after about 3 months there, Internal Revenue sent them a letter and said I owed them money, and they wanted them to take 1 check out a month to go to them. The other 3 I could keep to live on. Well, they got it all screwed up. They thought they were supposed to get every check. So that's when I was married to Janice. And I had Joe Frank, Ginger, Brady, and Amber. And then I had all them. Well, I still painted and done sheetrock work on the side, you know. But I worked 3 solid months down there in the mines, and they got every damn check I had.
Really?
But I was working on the side in the morning time, doing sheetrock and painting, and we kept, you know, I fed my family. But the last payday that they was cutting me, they called me to the office and said they had made a bad mistake. And, you know, we want to work this out now. We'll give you all this money back because we done you wrong. We didn't supposed to get every one of them. We just supposed to got 1, and we cut you off the whole month, everything. And we'll do it all back for you. We just don't need any, you know, like a lawsuit.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Don't mess
I
us
said,
up.
well, hell, I done paid it, ain't I? They said, yeah. I said, well, just let it go. You know, I made it all right. My daddy took care of me, and my father-in-law, they all pitched in and took care of the family, which, you know, wasn't the proof. But I didn't want to tell them anything else. But I paid them off.
Well, that was a good thing.
Yeah, it was. It saved a lot of interest.
So that was 87.
87.
And then after then they hired you.
No,
that was 70. It's probably earlier than that,
was
right?
74.
74, yeah. 87 is when you went to work for the union.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trumpka, who's over the AFL-CIO now, we got him elected. When he run for office, he come to Alabama. And I got a friend of mine who got me involved in the union, like Charles Fuller. He told me, he said, I got a candidate coming down named Trumpka. And he's out of Pennsylvania, and it's a new slate. And I'm going to go for it. And we're going against, who'd he run against? Sam Church, who was part of the Arnold Miller bunch, which the Arnold Miller changed the whole union. He got us to be an autonomy union instead of a dictatorship, which was great. Well, Trump could run, and he come to Alabama, and the rumors already was the best way to hurt somebody around coal miners, tell them they're communists or socialists, you know. And nobody wants to vote for them. Well, I done heard rumors that Trumpka was a communist or a socialist, you know. Well, he come down and we went up Jasper, and I sit down in a room with him, and we met with him. And he told us, he said, there wasn't but 5 of us. He said, I know the job's going to be hard. He said, but if y'all can just get me 10% of the vote out of Alabama, I'm going to win it everywhere else. We said, all right. I signed on with him. You know, I was going to campaign for him, which I did. I took a lot of harassment, but we got him elected. You know how much we got here in Alabama? We got 49%
Is that right?
of the vote.
5 times what he wanted.
Yeah. And he really, you know, he appreciated it. And then he didn't promise no job or nothing. Well, then when he took over, he could appoint people. All the old ones got let go.
Yeah.
And he brought his.
Right. To the victors belong the spoils,
Well,
right?
he kept a lot of them, you know, because they were good and they just following order. But and he sent word that he was going to hire me because I done so well for him. Well, there wasn't no opening for an organizer or a compact man or something like that. So Charles come to me, he said, he wants you to fly to Washington. Here's a ticket. We're going to hire you, but I don't know what you're going to be doing yet. You got to go up there. Well, I got on the plane, I went to Washington, got up there and met with him, and I was a damn whore hopper anyway back then, you know. I mean, I was bad. And I'll never forget the time he looked at me. He had that little black mustache, and he looked at me, he said, I'm going to hire you, and I'm making a new position for you. You're an all-purpose person. He said, what that is, you're going to know something about safety, you're going to know something about organizing, you're going to know something about politics, and you'll be my 3 person, then I can send you anywhere I need help. I said, okay. And he looked at me, he said, one thing I ask you, don't ever steal from this union, and don't ever embarrass this union. And I don't want to see when the paper, it won't be Charlie Tipton got thrown into jail for DUI. He'll be United Mile Workers American International person, Charlie Tipton. Well, you know, I'm bad about going to them go-go places. I got to tell this story. I stopped at this go-go place and I got out just after I got back home, and I was living just like I went to church for about 6 months, you know, not knowing nothing. You know, scared to death. Well, I stopped at this go-go place and I walked up to the door to open it up to go in. And I looked up on the door and I could see old Trump looking at me. I turned around and got in my car and left. Never did go in there. I didn't never go in one. Not no more, right until later on, until I started meeting them. They sent me out west. But
I remember Mamaw talking about how you would go out west for a long, you know.
well, that's, after about, I stayed here in Alabama as an organizer, and they gave me some mines to inspect. Where our local, we had a mine inspection there. I'd go into the mines and walk with my committee, and I'd go deal with MSHA, which mine safety, talk to them. And really didn't know what I was doing. What I did was a safety man at the mines, so I know a lot about safety. And but they called me up, Eddie Burke did, and he said, we got a bad contract strike going on out there in Kentay, Arizona on the Indian reservation. He said, I'm going to send you out there for a while. I said, well, I don't know anything about that. He said, well, you'll learn. There'll be somebody out there to show you. I said, all right. He said, get in your truck and head to Kentay, Arizona. So I got in that truck and I took across the damn United States. I went to Kentay, Arizona, and an old guy named Roger Hamlet was his name. He was there. And he said, God, I'm glad to see you here. He said, I just can't. He said, me and the Navajos are different, you know. I just can't communicate good with them. I hope you can. I said, okay, because you can't understand them, for one thing, you know. So
you were the Josie Wales of the mine.
Yeah, I went out there, you know. I went across America. All I could think was, this is what I've always wanted to do, you know. I wanted to help the Indians in America. They're so mistreated, I want to go out there and fight with them. Well.
And they were working in the mines?
Yeah, they have strip miners out there up on the mesas, big strip miners. Peabody Coal Company and P&M Coal Company. We had 3 places on strike there, 2 on the Navajo reservation, one right off in Window Rock, they call it.
Did they pay the reservation? Did they pay the Indians to use that land, or did they
Yep.
they didn't?
But it was, hey, just like regular politics.
Right.
The people at the top, the chiefs, they got all the money. Poor Indians had no
Knew
water,
anything,
no
right.
nothing. Poor poverty, you know. So I go out there and I get with them, and Roger said, "I'm glad you're here." He said, "All you gotta do is," we gave them strike checks. When Trump took over, he started a strike fund, and every miner that was working in the United States, 1% of their pay each week went into that strike fund till we built it up to something like 70 million. And then it would cut off, it'd go down to maybe $5, $10, you know, or cut off. Well, I'd be out there and we'd pay them, I think back then it was about $150 a week, you know, help
Right.
them out, strike fund.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I done. I would pay that, but
Oh,
I
they
got
loved you.
involved with them and everything else, you know, to get them going. And we won the strike after 3 months. And from there, I come back home for 1 week, and he said, "I want you to go back out there, but we'll fly you this time. Rent a car. I'm sending you to Steamboat Springs, Colorado. We got a strike going on there. It's about over, but I think you need to go out there because I mingled with all them Navajos, and when I left, you know, they come to see me in Alabama, you know, because I can make friends with anybody, and they showed me all kind of stuff, and about the Mesa. They carried me to places that tourists never see out there. And
What were they striking about? Just bad
what
conditions,
we
or
were striking about?
yeah?
One thing, the right to see their medicine man and Peabody Coal Company pay for it. Just like I got the right to go see my doctor. They believed in the medicine man. They wanted the right to pay him to
Instead
go
of
see
a
him.
doctor, right?
That was it. That was it. Plus we got wages, retirement, and other stuff, you know.
That's what y'all went on strike.
But that what this whole strike was about, the right to use a medicine man. So we won it, you know. And but from there they sent me to Steamboat Springs, then to Craig, Colorado, then to Tenderide, and a couple more in Colorado. And then when them was over, I stayed out there about 4 months. Then when they were over, they sent me to a place called Sheridan, Wyoming, right up there in the north part of Wyoming next to Montana. Isolated town.
Really?
Isolated. It was, if you went from Cheyenne to Craig, from Cheyenne to Sheridan, it was a 3-hour drive. If you went from Sheridan to Billings, Montana, 2-hour drive.
Wow.
Nothing in between but road. All right. Well, we had a bad strike going on there, and it was a group of all whites in that little western town that grew up in that town. They had a college in that town. Their whole life was in that town. Hardly ever seen any black folks, unless they seen them on TV or something. Well, the coal company, Peter Keewick, out of Omaha, Nebraska, when we went on strike, you know who they brought in there as their company's thugs, their guards, and police people? All black. Well, when we
That was
got
bad,
there,
huh?
we had 2 battles. We had the whites wanting to be pissed off because the blacks, and they get out in them supermarkets, and they know who a coal miner's wife was. Well, one of them would say something to the wife, try to get them trouble started. So we had 2 battles out there. That lasted 14 months. That was hell out there. That's one reason I'll never go back to Wyoming the rest of my life. Because I thought I was going to prison out there. It was
Rough, huh?
It was bad. That's where I had my first heart attack. I come home, and they said I'd got, the grand jury had indicted me. The grand jury was looking at indicting me for strike violence and stuff out there, which I was the leader, you know. And I didn't have nothing about trains blowing up or railroad. Just different things happening. I didn't have no
part.
Hold on one second. I got